Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, I begin with a deep apology for having to join you on the opening of the Global Efficient Lighting Forum only by means of this video message. It had been my intention to be with you in Beijing. However, due to a rescheduling of the dates of the China Council for International Cooperation on Environment and Development, unfortunately my travel plans had to change at the last minute. It is with deep regret because I believe very much not only in the importance of this forum but also in the many partnerships that have arisen globally on the challenge but also the enormous opportunity of moving towards a more efficient lighting future that holds so many benefits across different agendas. Let me, however, also begin by thanking our Chinese hosts and partners who have made this Global Efficient Lighting Forum not only possible but have enriched it with their own expertise and particularly with the warm hospitality that is always part of meetings that are hosted in Beijing and across China. I would like to recognize in particular the National Reform Development Commission, which has been central in also encouraging us in UNEP and the international community to take this issue of efficient lighting to its next level. The Ministry of Industry and Information Technology and also our partner, the National Lighting Test Center in Beijing, which has been such an active partner in the Global Enlightened project alongside our other partners, including the GEF, Osram and Philips. On behalf of the United Nations Environment Programme, I would like to commit not only our institution but also our colleagues and networks to moving this agenda of efficient lighting forward even more quickly and at a greater scale. We have learned a great deal in recent years and I think have all been taken by surprise by how quickly governments, consumers, markets, but in particular also industry and the producers of efficient lighting technology have risen to the challenge of, on the one hand, providing us with a more efficient pathway towards bringing lighting and electricity services to an ever larger population, but doing so with a smaller footprint that not only addresses issues such as, for instance, energy consumption through lighting and therefore also the related issues of carbon emissions. But in particular, when we look at efficient lighting, it is also an agenda that speaks very much to access to electricity, to the consumer interests that, for instance, will benefit from having to pay less in future for being able to access not only lighting, but doing so with an ever smaller bill that they will have to pay. We owe also a deep gratitude to the scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs and businesses who have made the scaling up of new technologies and the availability across the global marketplace of efficient lighting technology a success story. It is perhaps no coincidence that this year the Nobel Prize Committee in fact awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics to a group of scientists that were at the heart of bringing LED technology out of the laboratories and into the reality of our lighting economy of today. Let me also note that in the context of the Secretary General Ban Ki-moon's leadership on the issue of access to energy and the Sustainable Energy for All initiative, our work, our forum this week in Beijing very much speaks to the three objectives of the Sustainable Energy for All initiative. Indeed, it has been a remarkable success story of how we can achieve multiple benefits in terms of access, also the use of renewable energy and greater efficiency in terms of the energy services that we derive from the kinds of technologies that are available to us today, that the Sustainable Energy for All initiative has been embraced by so many countries, businesses and also the public in general across the globe. It is our hope in the United Nations Environment Programme that the Global Energy Efficient Lighting Forum that is taking place this week in Beijing will allow us to examine the state of technology, the state of practice, but also the state of policy. Through the Enlightened project and partnership, we are now working in well over 50 countries in assisting governments, but also businesses, utilities, and the consumer groups in trying to accelerate the transition from an incandescent lighting technology economy to the more efficient and also latest technology opportunities that are available to us in terms of efficient lighting. Many of you are at the forefront of this development. You are pioneers, you are practitioners, and you hold both the lessons and the promise of being able to move forward even faster and more effectively. In the work that we undertake in the United Nations Environment Programme, the issue of energy consumption in relation to lighting services is one that forms an integral part also of our work that we often describe in the context of a transition towards a green economy, an inclusive green economy where also poor people do have an opportunity to not only have access to the latest technology, but to have that access in an affordable manner. Our hope is that out of the forum in Beijing this week, we can further reinforce the understanding of quite how far we have come and how we have succeeded in doing so, but perhaps more importantly also to chart the way forward in terms of more governments, more communities, more businesses and more consumers being able to take part in this transition towards an energy-efficient lighting economy. Technology moves fast. Sometimes policy lags behind, and consumers can be skeptical, conservative, or face also very real hurdles such as the cost of investing in a new technology. All of these factors come together in either determining a greater scope at a shorter period of time in enabling us to move forward, or continuing to hold on to technologies which really are no longer the state of the art. I wish you a very successful forum in Beijing, and above all commit the United Nations Environment Programme and many of our partners with whom we work every day on these issues to not only invest in these strategies in the years to come, but to form a part of a global community of practitioners and a network of institutions, decision makers and investors who hold the promise of taking these opportunities forward. Some of them you will recognize this week also with the awards that are being awarded to them in terms of their pioneering work, the courage, the risk-taking that they have often demonstrated, and the leadership they have shown. Among them will be my dear colleague Naoko Ishii, CEO of the Global Environment Facility, which very early on enabled us to make one of these partnerships become a reality. All of you who will be recognized this week deserve our gratitude and our admiration. You have shown leadership, many have followed, and this is a formula for success. Thank you very much.